28 out of 40 students walk to school. The rest go by bus. What percentage of students walk to school? Let's just do this one like this. All right. So we have 28 out of 40 students walk to school. Got it? This is the number of people that, the number of people that walk divided by the number total out of 40 students. What is this as a percentage? Now, this one is a little bit tough to make this thing. This thing might be a little bit tough to work with. Let's try to figure it out. Okay?
Yeah.
What if I did this? What if I reduced the 28 over 40 as, let's see, this would be 14, right? What did I do?
You reduced it by 2.
Okay. And then I can make this 7 out of 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 7 out of 10 is the same as 0.7.
Yep.
Right?
You can't reduce it.
Well, think about this. I want this as a percentage.
Yeah, it's
70%.
Mm.
Perfect. Done.
That was good.
That was it.
Wow.
I can't think of the number off the top of my head that I would multiply 40 by to make it 100. But if I reduce it, I can get it down to something that like, hey, out of 10, I can convert that to a percentage really easy.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? What percentage of students go by bus? There's my next question. Well, if 40% of them, or if 70% of them go by walking, how much is left over?
That's 30%.
30%. 30%. That's it.
Oh.
And here's how you would use it as a ratio. Well, anyway, let's move on because I'm not sure if they're going to teach you that lesson next. All right. Ali had $120. He spent 40% of his money on a watch and 25% of the remainder on a pen. Okay, I got it. This one's a little bit tougher. Let's do this one slowly. All right. Got 120 bucks. He spent 40% on a watch, I think. Oh yeah. So, check this out. If you had 120, I want to figure out how much money he spent on the watch. Actually, it's not necessarily, I want to figure out how much did the watch cost. What I want to know, really, is how much money he has left over after he spent the money on the watch. Does that make sense? That's really what I want to know. There's 2 ways to do that. Now, this is where I'm telling you, a lot of people get screwed up on this percentage stuff. Pay attention. So if I have 120 over here, look at the board. Where are you looking?
Are you?
You weren't looking at me. You're looking off into space. Pay attention. He has $120 to begin with. Got it? I want to figure out what 40% of this is. To do that, you simply multiply this by 40%. You don't know how to multiply a number times a percentage yet. And I'm not going to teach it to you because it's not easy. The easiest thing to do is that's the same as 120 times 4 over 10. Right? Because 40% is the same as 4 over 10. Do you know how to do that? Do you agree?
Yeah.
All right. Look, I can multiply all these together. I think the way I'm going to do this is 120 divided by 10 is pretty easy to do. That just knocks off a 10 right there. Got it? And then 12 times 4, that's 48 So that's 48. This is what? The cost of his watch? How much money he has left over? What is it?
The percent of his watch.
No, 48 is the number. It's not the percent. The percent was 40%.
The cost of his watch.
How much his watch was cost. So, how much money does he have left over?
48.
No. He spent 48. Spent.
He's 52.
52. Because, no, actually, 62.
No? 52.
This would be 0 and 1. Yeah, not 52. 52 would give you 100. It's 72. He has $120,
Oh.
right?
Mhm.
So he has $120. Okay? Oh no, not percent. $120. All right. Here, let me ask you this, because this is where I want to explain to you where people get screwed up. Look, Ali has $120. Got it? He spent 40% of his money on a watch and 25% of the remainder on a pen. Here's my question to you. Did he straight up spend 65% of his money?
No.
Hmm?
No.
Why not? Because 40% plus 25% is 65% altogether.
Yeah, but he spent 40% on one thing and 25% on the other thing.
Well, right. So, didn't he spend 65% altogether of his money?
I think.
Huh?
Yeah.
65?
I think. Yes.
What percentage did he spend? Oh, okay. I guess I think I'm doing this problem a little bit wrong. Ali has $120. He spent 40% of his money on a watch and 25% of the remainder on a pen. What percentage of money did he spend? Well, oh yeah, I'm actually doing this right, but I guess this might be an easier way to think about this. He didn't spend 65% of his money.
Yeah.
That's a bad way to think about it. Because what he did was he spent 40% of his money on the watch, correct. But he only spent 25% of what was left over.
Yeah.
So how much money, like he spent 40% of his money here, right?
Yeah.
And how much is left over? What percent of money is left over?
45.
No, 60,
60.
right? Because if he spent 40% of it, he has 60% of it left. If he spent a quarter of that, because that's another way of thinking about this 25%.
Yeah.
If he spent a quarter of that 60%, that would only mean 15%.
Mm-hmm.
So 40% is how much he spent on the watch. 15% is how much he spent on the pen. And 45% is how much he has left over.
So that means he spent
15% of the whole is actually 25% of the remainder. Those are the same thing.
So that means he spent 55
He spent 55.
altogether.
No, he spent 65 altogether, right?
Really?
Oh no, you're right. 55. He spent 55% altogether. He has 45% left. So what I want to do is I want to figure out how much actual money does he have left? Well, you would simply go 120 times 45%. Okay? Now, how did I show you how to do this? Well, this is the same as 120 times 45 over 100. Got it? You can knock off one of the zeros.
Yes. And then you
45.
45.
All right. That's tough.
Yes.
Here. I'm sure that you can figure out how to do this, on paper. I'm going to show you how I do it. I would do 12 times 4.5. Because 45 divided by 10 is 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
12 times 4, I know that. That's 48.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Half of, or the extra 0.5, well, what's half of 12? 6?
Yeah,
So it's 4.5. So you got the 48 plus the extra 6.
So that's
54. So he has $54 left over. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
If we were to go about doing it my way, then it still would have worked. My answer still would have worked. I'll prove it to you. Let me show it to you real quick, okay? I told you that he spent $48. How much money does he still have? I told you he still has $72 left, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I want to figure out what 25% of 72 is, I just go 25 over 100. Now, it's very convenient to know what 25% is in fractional form. We already know that as 1/4. Got it?
Yeah.
So what is 72 divided by 4? That is, let's see, it's like 18. So how much did his pen cost?
It costs
$18. So if he had $72 and his pen cost him $18, how much money did he have left? 72 minus 18. All right, let's see, this would be a 6 and a 1. This would be a 4 and a 5.
54.
$54. Okay?
Yep.
Both ways are good. Their way is pretty clever.